Siddhartha Dash, or Sid Dash, from Chartis Research. I'm Research Director at Chartis Research, and I will be talking to Andrea Partesotti, MD and Head of Risk and Compliance Solutions at Prometeia, and we'll be talking about directions in risk analytics and risk management. So, without further ado, Andrea, I mean, you've seen the evolution of regulations and over some time, and clearly the regulatory environment has been a key driver of risk management in banking. How do you see the future? How do you see the evolution going forward?
Thank you for your question, Sid. Yes, indeed, it has been a key factor in, in the risk management evolutions in banks, and it will be again in the future. Even if maybe, the focus of regulators will be a little different. When we used to focus on, credit risk, of course, market risk and liquidity risk as well. I think that if we look forward, we will turn their attention, regulators will turn their attention to such risk as, ESG risk, climate change risk in particular. Now, everybody talks about energy risk, all those risks that are coming from current situation, geopolitical situation and economic situation. This will be, risk that will be to put to the attention of the regulators in the future. And less obvious, but in my opinion, it will become as important as those that I mentioned. We are looking and we're seeing more and more widespread use of AI modeling. And what we are working at in Prometeia is to set up an AI validation framework, which I think is something that regulators will ask to do that to banks, because they need to put the usage of AI models and into such a framework with clear rules and way to use those models.
And if you think about how you discussed the idea about regulations overall and moving to non-financial regulations, as well as regulations and validation environments around AI. But how do you see the evolution of credit risk, and how do you see perhaps even AI interacting with credit risk?
Well, AI is already there. When you talk about credit risk, we see a lot of things regarding AI happening with regard to credit risk. Right now, current situation is, in my perception, is it's being limited to the so-called managerial models. Okay, so models used by banks to run monitoring credit exposures, early warning system, managing NPEs and so on and so forth, while still the use of AI modeling into regulatory credit risk models is strongly limited by regulations. But it's coming, we see working papers, white papers issued by the local competent authorities, and we know about task force at ECB level. They are, turning their attention on how AI models will affect regulatory models, and it's just a matter of time. It's going to come at regulatory models as well.
And you see the evolution into AI becoming much more universal. And do you see the major opportunity in regulatory models, or other areas of risk where you can leverage AI as well?
Yes, indeed, because using unstructured internal data, using untapped internal information, or also external information through AI models is by all means its effect. It's enhancing the accuracy of models, the forecasting capabilities, so the performance of models. So everybody is going to get there as soon as, or either they are already using those kind of models, or they're going to start very soon, because performance is increasing is increasing all the time. So we're going to get there.
Absolutely. So pivoting from the models and methodology and regulations to the infrastructure a little bit, how do you see open source and risk analytics? What do you see as the opportunity, challenges, and views in that space, if you will?
Well, open source is really changing the way um, risk analytics are, are being built, are being run. Keywords are, modeling platforms and libraries and APIs. So what we need to do is, in my opinion, is empower with the appropriate tools and labs, analytical labs, the skills, the proficiencies of quants operating in the banks, of data science operating in the banks, thus, unleashing their capabilities, and their product and enhancing their productivity. This is what we are trying to do. Libraries, APIs, so we see them as accelerator, to let those guys, concentrate on innovation and using libraries, like I don't know how to say, the metaphor is, the pieces of Lego, you put them together to get a construction. You want to be fast, you have some pieces. So this is how it's going to work, in my opinion.
I think that's a good metaphor to end our conversation today. AI, open source as pieces of Lego, and so thank you, Andrea. And
Thank you, Sid.
with that, we come to the close of this session and conversation.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you very much.